Before we begin, a few important words. This recording is intended for relaxation, personal development, and general well-being. It is not therapy, it is not medical treatment, and it is not a substitute for professional care from a licensed healthcare provider. No specific results are promised or guaranteed. Every person's experience is unique, and what you take from this session is entirely your own. If you are dealing with a medical condition, a mental health concern, or are currently receiving treatment of any kind, please continue to work with your healthcare provider. This recording is meant to complement your well-being, never to replace professional guidance. Hypnosis recordings, while effective for many people, are not a replacement for working one-on-one with a trained and highly skilled clinical hypnotherapist. If you are dealing with a specific issue and would like personalized help, I invite you to visit phobiafree.life and schedule a free consultation with a certified clinical hypnotherapist. Before we begin, this recording contains hypnosis. Please do not listen to this while driving, operating machinery, or doing anything that requires your full attention. Find a quiet, comfortable place where you can simply relax, undisturbed, for the duration of this session. If at any time you need to be fully alert, you can simply open your eyes, take a deep breath, and return to full waking awareness immediately. Find yourself in a comfortable position now. And you don't need to do anything in particular, just allow your body to settle the way it naturally wants to when given permission to simply be still. You might notice the weight of your body against whatever is supporting you right now. And isn't it interesting how you never really noticed that support before, and yet it was always there? Your eyes can remain open, or they may find their own way to close, and some people find their eyes closing almost before they expect them to, and that's perfectly fine, because your unconscious mind always knows exactly what it needs. With each breath you take, you don't even have to try to relax, because relaxation isn't something you do, it's something you allow, and your body already knows how. Perhaps you notice a gentle heaviness beginning in your shoulders, or maybe it starts somewhere else entirely. It doesn't matter where it begins, only that it spreads slowly, naturally, the way warmth spreads through your hands on a cold day, without any effort at all. And as that comfortable feeling continues to deepen, your mind may begin to drift a little, the way it does in those moments just before sleep, when thoughts become softer, less urgent, more like clouds passing than anything requiring your attention. You don't need to follow every word I say. In fact, your unconscious mind is already doing exactly what it needs to do, and your conscious mind is welcome to rest. With every breath out, just a little more comfortable, a little more settled, a little more yours. And when you're ready, we can go somewhere quite wonderful together. Here's something fascinating about social anxiety that most people never think about. The feeling of being watched, of being judged, of being evaluated by everyone in the room. It feels so real, so accurate, so certain. But here's what's actually happening. You're not being watched by everyone. You're being watched by one person, you. Social anxiety isn't really about other people. It's about the version of you that's standing slightly behind you, watching you, criticizing you, narrating everything you do in the most unflattering way possible. Other people are barely paying attention. They're thinking about their own lives, their own worries, their own self-conscious narrator. But that internal watcher of yours, that one is relentless. So tonight, we're not going to work on what other people think, because we can't control that, and it doesn't actually matter. We're going to gently, lovingly give that internal watcher something else to do. But first, a feeling. Think of a time when you felt at ease with other people, genuinely at ease, not performing, not monitoring yourself, just being yourself, and it was enough. Maybe it was with one person, someone you trust completely, where conversation flowed without effort and you never once thought about how you were coming across because it simply didn't matter. Or maybe it was in a group, a time when you were so engaged in what was happening that you forgot to be self-conscious. Maybe you were laughing. Maybe you were telling a story. Maybe you were just present without that watcher narrating from behind your shoulder. Or your own moment. A time when being around people felt natural and easy and even enjoyable. Find that feeling. Not the situation and the feeling of being yourself without editing, without filtering, without that constant background hum of, am I okay? Do they like me? Did I say the wrong thing? The feeling of just being, and that being enough. Let it come back into your body. And notice what happens. Your shoulders probably soften, your face probably relaxes, your breathing probably opens up, because when you're not self-conscious, you breathe fully, you take up space, you exist openly. That's your natural state, by the way, that ease, that openness. It's not something you have to achieve. It's what you default to when you stop monitoring yourself. Children have it before anyone teaches them to be self-conscious. You had it once, and it's still in there, underneath the watching, underneath the narrating, waiting to come back. Now let that feeling grow. Let it expand. Let it fill you the way warm light fills a room when you open the curtains. Suddenly everything is brighter, warmer, more spacious, and you realize the room was always this big. You were just keeping the curtains closed. Good. Now, I want to tell you something about armor. When you're socially anxious, you wear invisible armor. You pull yourself inward. You make yourself smaller. You monitor every word, every gesture, every facial expression, as if one wrong move will expose you to some terrible judgment. And that armor, that constant self-monitoring it's exhausting. It takes enormous energy to maintain. And here's the irony, and it actually makes you less likable, not more. Because people don't connect with armor. People connect with people. Real, imperfect, unedited people. The most magnetic people in any room aren't the ones who are carefully managing their presentation. They're the ones who've stopped caring about their presentation, not because they're reckless, but because they've turned their attention outward, toward others, toward curiosity, toward genuine interest in the person in front of them. And that's the secret. The cure for self-consciousness is other consciousness. When you're genuinely curious about someone else, genuinely interested in what they're saying, what they think, who they are. There's no room left for the watcher. The watcher needs your attention to survive. Give your attention to someone else, and the watcher starves, quietly, without a fight. And that feeling you found, amplify it now. Let it double, that feeling of ease, that feeling of being yourself without apology. Double it again, until it feels like taking off a heavy coat you've been wearing for years. The relief of it, the lightness, the freedom of not having to hold yourself together because you were never falling apart in the first place. And you might try right now to summon that self-conscious feeling. That watcher, that narrator, try to turn it back on. And notice how hard it is, because when your body is this full of ease, when you're this relaxed, when you're this present, the watcher can't get traction. It's like trying to be anxious while lying in a warm bath. You could try, yet the harder you try, the more your body says, "Not now. I'm busy feeling good." Now, imagine a social situation. Something that would normally make you anxious, a party, a meeting, a conversation with someone you don't know well. And instead of that familiar dread, instead of the armor going on, you notice something different. You notice curiosity, a gentle, warm interest in the people around you, not anxiety about what they think of you, but curiosity about who they are. When you walk into that situation the way you walk into a friend's house, not performing, not monitoring, just arriving, just being there and being yourself, and that being more than enough. And the conversation flows, not because you planned what to say, but because you were genuinely interested. And genuine interest is the most natural conversation fuel in the world. It doesn't need scripts. It doesn't need preparation. It just needs you to stop watching yourself and start noticing the person in front of you. And that watcher, that narrator, it's very quiet now. Maybe it's still there somewhere in the background, but it has nothing to do, because you're not feeding it attention anymore. You're giving that attention to the world, to people, to life, and the watcher, without an audience of its own, simply fades. And now, in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And you can choose. Open your eyes, feeling light and at ease and genuinely curious about the world, or drift into a deep, comfortable sleep, free from the watcher, free from the armor, just you. Whatever you choose is exactly right. 1. Beginning to shift. That ease still with you. That lightness still real. 2. The armor is off, and it feels so much better without it. 3. Your body knows what it needs. Coming up or going deeper, both are perfect. 4. Almost there. Open, free, genuine. Enough. 5. Eyes opening, present and at ease and ready to connect, or eyes staying closed, drifting peacefully, free. Whichever you chose, you are enough. You always were.